He is Big Game James. James Coleman played at Florida State at fullback from 2002 to 2005. He was a fan, played for a full 4 years there, and now is in the media on a number of platforms we're trying to keep track of here. He's got his podcast, Sports Den Live, also Fifth Quarter Quarterback, and you're doing some other stuff for some TV stations, right, James?
Yeah, I work with First Coast News during the football seasons as a football analyst, and my alma mater asked me if I could do some pro day coverage, for the ACC network. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed for that I get to wear another suit during this time, or I might have to wait until the fall. But yeah, the Sports Den, we're 5 days a week now on 1010 XL in Jacksonville, Florida. Or you can hit our iTunes Straight Talk No Chaser on iTunes and SoundCloud, as well as Fifth Quarter College Football. If you want to know all things Seminole without any overreaction and sanity, we definitely spit the golden nuggets is what we call it.
All right, we'll take some our direction too, and we usually get them from you, so that's a good thing. So don't forget about us. We're still around. You can.
Oh, definitely. I'm definitely the first. As soon as you give me the link, we're gonna put it up there. Everybody's waiting with bated breath to hear what Big Game and Mark Rogers has got to talk about today.
That's right. And not forgetting about me, that you got maybe 15 minutes in your week for me. So I always appreciate that. All right. Before last season, we would be in a mad scurry to figure out how Florida State and all the other schools are going to fill their 20 to 25 spots, because National Signing Day was the National Signing Day the first Wednesday of February. Now we've got a different deal where about 85% of the guys are locked up, but still there's some targets out there for a class that right now, according to 247 Sports, is number 2 in the ACC and number 16 in the country, James.
They stole a little of our thunder, man. I'm not feeling 247 and Rivals for taking Akeem Dent's 5th star. So that kind of messed up our rankings right there. But if nothing else, the one thing I always try to stress to fans is this. They may be very unorganized and it looks unorthodox, but as I talk, if you ever baked a cake from scratch in the kitchen, or you've seen your mama and them do that, it's not the prettiest looking thing when you break it down, but man, does it taste damn good once they finish it. So it's all about I'm not a process guy. I'm a results guy. So like I'm in a business that I run day to day. I have to pay bills. So like the landlord doesn't really care how I got to my number. He just cares if I get to my number. So I'm a get it done type of guy. So right now, like you said, we're 16th ranked. And if there's nothing else, if you don't believe Willie can coach worth of blood nickel, the one thing he came in very highly regarded for is his recruiting. And if you look at what FSU did last year, we went from the 60th ranked recruiting class when he took over to the number 12 ranked recruiting class, to the 11th ranked recruiting class. And I believe in Rivals, we were top 10. So that was a lot of ground that he had covered with very little people signing in the early signing period. Now, the one thing he did address in 2018 was a lot of the needs in the skill position players. So we really don't need another running back. We really don't need another wide receiver. Those are luxuries. If we get a wide receiver, like I talked about, it'll probably be Mingo. Pickens just doesn't have the grades right now. I mean, I'm not going to go into all the details because I'm not about making anybody think any differently of a kid, but just know a state school in Florida can't get him in right now. Doesn't mean he won't graduate high school. It just means we can't enroll him in a school. I mean, and it's going to take too much work to get him enrolled. And if there's different things, like there's different prereqs that you have to have out of high school. Different states require different things. He doesn't have what it takes for the state of Florida. But I do believe if there is a school in the state, the University of Miami has a chance to get a guy Pickens, but they're a private school. They dictate whatever the hell it is they want to get. Like they don't you get in how you want to get in. We have a board of directors, a board of regents that we have to answer to, so we can't necessarily do that. So coming into this weekend right here, Taggart doesn't do it the way that everybody else does it, where every weekend in the month of January you have a recruiting weekend. He believes in momentum, and the momentum that is caused by having a bunch of energy and having the kids vibe and commit off of that energy. It's why he does the Saturday Night Live the way he does it. where you see a lot of commits coming in from out of that weekend in the summer. He has a couple big recruiting weekends during the football season. Then the game didn't go the way we wanted it to go, like Clemson. Like if Clemson would have been a better game, you probably would have saw 5 or 6 commits, as well as Virginia Tech. Had that been a better game, you would have saw some more commits coming off the high and the energy off of that. But he's doing it this weekend, and we're expected to have about 16 visitors between people who are recognized as well as people who may come last minute. And we'll also have some unofficial guys come on unofficial visits, like Kalen DeLoach is going to come down from Carolina, who signed early. He's going to come down and probably help recruit a little bit. I think Jalil. Then we have some guys on campus already. So when we're looking at this weekend and some of the needs that FSU has, obviously we need a quarterback. We did not take any quarterbacks last cycle. We did not take any quarterbacks in the transfer portal. We did not take any quarterbacks in early signing period. But right now we have our eyes. We have 2. I give them nicknames. There's 12 gauge and the 3-name Pilgrim. The 12 gauge is Legendry. He's going to come in this weekend again. He's another guy that will, even if he commits to Florida State or to Miami, and I believe it's a two-team battle, but it won't. You won't see him probably on campus until August. There's something going on with his grades, from what I understand. But the kid has talent. The 3-name Pilgrim is John Reese Plumlee, the Georgia commit. I know for sure that's QB1 for us. He's allegedly the fastest white boy in the nation. He runs a 4.3. That's what they say. So that means he probably runs a 4.5. I don't believe it. I don't believe anybody runs a 4.3 unless I see it with my own eyes and my own stopwatch. That's the only way. But if obviously with this kind of system that Tag runs, if he has any kind of athleticism and he can do that, that's good. He plays baseball as well. So, but I think that's the guy that they're going to try to go all in on. They'll probably end up signing 2. Of the commits, we'll have Kevon Glenn from out of Georgia, a kid who a guy gave me his highlight film. I took his highlight film straight to my man Hova and said, "Hey, this guy's is pure violence." I look at linebackers as a fullback. Like if I had to block this guy, would I be in trouble? And 90% of the guys that send me films on their linebackers, I'm like, there's nothing that guy could do to me if I put my hands on him. This kid right here can bring it a little bit. I like it. It's downhill violence, as Coach Bowden used to say. He plays with reckless abandon and total disregard for personal safety, and that's what I need. I need a linebacker that's borderline psycho. That if I didn't give him a college scholarship, he'd probably be I wouldn't want to meet him in a dark alley. So we need to give him we need to sign him based off of quality of life for everybody. And I want that on my defense. Brendan Gant, who's a commit from out here, who is a DB that has linebacker size, will probably be perfect for that star position at Florida State. Quayshawn Fuller, who is probably the most drama-filled recruit that we've had. I'm told we're good with him. He likes the process. Enjoy it. You're the pretty girl at prom right now. It'll never be this way again. Well, I say that, but then there's this transfer portal thing. So, but like it's supposed to be only this. This is supposed to be the only time you're heavily recruited. But so we got those guys committed. As of right now, Florida State needs to sign 1 or 2 quarterbacks to make this class whole. 5 to 6 offensive linemen, 4 linebackers. We've got 3 linebackers committed, 2 on a visit right now that we have a very good shot at. The 2 are actually pretty good. Both of them are 4 stars. Eugene Asante, who nicknames himself the Assassin, very much so a sideline-to-sideline type linebacker, not necessarily a downhill headhunter, but you need a guy that can be able to be in coverage and do that. And he just increased. Again, he's one of those guys that we could see rivals at 247 didn't know what the hell they were looking at the film, but they're like now ascending up. Like they're going from like 300th ranked prospect, 2-star to now top 200 and a 4-star. That's too high of a jump for me personally than I would like, but whatever. He's a 4-star prospect. He's not a bad kid. Not one of my favorite linebackers, but at the same time, there is a talent. There is some talent there. And Shaman Cooper is a kid from out of St. Louis who's going to be here with his teammate Ira Henry, who's an offensive tackle, who I believe are a package deal. Shaman is the one who committed to Illinois on the at the Under Armour All-American game, but he said he was going to commit and still take his visits, which makes absolutely no sense. And a lot of people think that if we impress this weekend, he will flip. That would be the guy. That's the guy fans are looking. Circle that guy. That's a day one impact starter. So Cooper, Deloach, and McCree are guys that we want to make sure that those are guys that are probably going to play a lot next year. Glenn may play too, but again, we could have a really good linebacker group that signs. Right now, we have Ira Henry, Kamar Bell, and Darius Washington, who are all coming in on the offensive line standpoint. We sign that, we get to that 5-0 lineman in this class. We get those three, which we all have. We have a good shot at. We have 6-0 linemen. We have Jay Williams, who's a JUCO left tackle, Dante Lucas from IMG, Maurice Smith from down in Carroll City. Those guys, two of those guys, Dante Lucas, Maurice Smith, are really, really good. Jay Williams is kind of looks friendly. I need to see him in the spring. I don't want my lineman looking friendly. I like ugly, aggressive, mean intentions, bad-spirited offensive linemen, and I'm hoping I'm wrong about him. There's no knock on him. I just hope I'm wrong. I'll tell you this much. Ira Henry and Darius Washington fit that mold. Those are some ugly young men that are going to get beautiful women because they're going to be damn good offensive linemen. So that's all that matters. So they're
different ways to get the women.
You don't have
different routes.
The beautiful thing about being an ugly guy is that you don't have to be pretty if you're really, really good at what you do. Case in point, me, I have a gorgeous wife.
There you go.
Right? So
it doesn't work the same for them as it does for us, quite.
Oh yeah, it doesn't, man. Nobody wants an ugly daughter. Everybody wants a beautiful daughter, and you want a handsome son, but you want them to be aggressive. Now, the other key recruit in this whole thing that Florida State fans need to be looking at, because we're on the outside looking in, but we've got Odell Higgins on it, and Odell got to give that good dad, granddad spirit vibe that he does with recruits, and that's Charles Moore from out of Louisville, Mississippi. He's 6'4", 268-pound defensive end. They say he was a Mississippi State commit. He backed off. It looks like Auburn. He absolutely loved his Florida visit, but I believe he's coming to Tallahassee, and it was expected for him not to come to Tallahassee. But, man, if we get him in there and he falls in love with Odell and he sees what he can actually do in this defense, I think we could actually steal that 4-star. And then we'll have a kicker. Alante Brown is a wide receiver / kind of running back, like athlete type that's from out of Detroit. He's a 4-star, I believe, on Rivals. He's a 3-star on 247. But he's a guy that Browse likes. So, but I think so. He sees him in there. We'll have we have a couple kickers, but I don't really care about kickers. Kickers aren't people, but they're necessary. They only know about kickers when they mess up. But the one kicker's coming from Moultrie, so my bad. Jay Ward is a DB that you need to be on the lookout for, because I think we changed this visit to next weekend. No, he's going to come this week, I believe. So Moultrie, we have Kamar Bell, Jay Ward, and I forgot the kicker's name. So there's 3 kids there that we may get that trio. If we really take Jay Ward, that means that Penn State or Georgia covered a lot of ground with Nick Cross's parents. I personally despise the parental role in the recruiting the last couple of years. I think parents' job is to advise. I cannot tell you how to raise your child, but if you have raised your child for 17 to 19 years and you've done the best you can do, and you need to allow them to make the decision based on your guidance. Too many parents have made this recruiting situation about them, and the kid goes where they feel it makes the parent happy. When the parent ain't got to go through damn two-a-days. They don't have to go through the heckling. They don't have to go through all of this stuff. You're the one who has to do it. And I know Nick Cross, as a kid, loves Florida State. He loves the class that he's in. But he also knows that his parents are not very fond of Florida State. And this was before the losses. They just were never fond of Florida State to begin with. They lean on this academic thing. But Nick Cross reminds me of a better, more athletic version of one of my friends, Myron Rowe, who is a Rhodes Scholar, which there's not very many people smarter than Rhodes Scholars, and there's not very many football players who get that. I know me personally, I was nowhere near Rhodes Scholar level. Matter of fact, they told me they did not recruit me to be a Rhodes Scholar. They recruited me to run fast and hit people very hard. and you'll probably lose brain cells, so you can't be a Rhodes Scholar. So, but Nick Cross would be a huge loss for FSU in the fact that he is a tremendous athlete. It will not be the end of the world because we have an embarrassment of riches in this recruiting class at DB, as well as what we have returning. So, but when you have a kid who's ranked #1 in the nation of all track athletes in the 55 meter and the 60 meter, he's running world-class speed. You never turn down world-class speed when you get an opportunity to get it. So Nick Cross would be the one. Nick Cross, Cooper, and Shimon Cooper and Charles Moore are the guys that I would look at if I was an FSU fan to see if we're going to possibly be able to either keep or flip. But I think when this is all said and done, FSU signs minimum 7 more players, and we'll probably have a top 12 class at worst. We will out recruit our rivals, and that's a lot being said coming off of a 5-7 year.
You covered some serious ground there, James. That's good stuff, man. I got the full list here. I wrote down all those names. Going to look these guys up to make sure for the few that I'm not that aware of. But that's some really good stuff.
Pretty good.
What's that?
For a guy who hates recruiting, I'm pretty good at it.
Yeah, well, it's one of the necessary evils for guys like you and me, but especially you. That's why I bring on guys like you, that I don't have to do the legwork on the recruiting stuff. I just watch the games and talk about next season's schedule and that kind of thing.